This is Coach Jay with Jay Performance. I'm a skills development coach for many high-level athletes from the range of high school to university, Diego Presingular being one of them. Today we're going to take a look at one of the off-season workouts we did this past week and just go over some drills and what we're trying to accomplish. Pretty much anytime we get started with a workout, we're going to do some things where we challenge his ball handling and his decision making. We're going to try to get his brain activated, especially how early we go in the mornings. So we're going to provide him with a lot of information and decisions to make. So in this particular drill, what I'm doing is I'm giving Diego information while he's going through a 2-ball drill. We're loading his brain with a lot of information and decisions to make for him to execute. So if there's a 0, that means he goes behind the back. If there's any odd number, he goes between the legs, and if there's any even numbers, he goes crossover. So he has to react to the information, and that's something that's very important for players when they're going through workouts, is to not just go through set patterns. And that's something we definitely do with Diego. We stay away from patterns, constantly putting him in positions where he's reading and reacting. So in this particular drill, we've taken one of the balls away, but now he's getting 2 numbers. The number in front of each hand is giving him the information that he needs to make that read and react from it. So he's got that same odds, evens, and zeros assignment pattern. But now he's got 2 decisions to make, so each hand is telling him what to do. So you'll notice he's reacting to the numbers, not necessarily calling the numbers, but he's reacting to them. So now we're moving on to get him activated from a shooting standpoint, where we're doing a drill called 2-ball shooting. It's about more than ball handling, and it's about more than just shooting the ball. It's to get your brain activated again, to get yourself grounded to start the day, and get yourself balanced and get your core engaged. And whatever we do with our right side, we try to do with our left. And as you can see, it's kind of uncomfortable for him, but you can see him making small, minor adjustments, and then he starts getting better and better at it. So this next drill here is what we call pickup shooting, and it's what you're looking at right here is where we're getting the ball off the ground and up into the shot pocket smoothly. So this is just a hard dribble into a shot, and this is the drill that we kind of keep the most basic form of, because this is the finish move of any shot that he takes off the move. So anything he's doing off the dribble, we want to make sure that the pickup is nice and smooth. So we try to work out the small details and the kinks at the start of the workout to make sure he's picking up the basketball cleanly and in a straight line off the ground. The best shooters always have to work on the very small details, and that's kind of always what we do at the start of our workouts. So we start to build more complexity and make the drills more difficult as the workout goes on. Now the misses here are actually important to us. We want to see where the ball flies, where he's adjusting his base, and how he's adjusting his core whenever he shoots, to account for the flight of the basketball. And then we move on to a variation where it's just we're doing full curls, half curls, and no curls, just full rotation. What we're looking for is if he starts to lean, if he starts to fade away whenever he turns these movements and does these difficult rotations. Now, because of the nature of the shots that he takes, we need to build body control and build that sense of stability while he's shooting. As a small guard, especially in live game scenarios, he's not going to be able to get set shots every single play. He'll get a lot of things at odd angles, so we have to put him in positions where he can be successful in those complex areas. So we're working on a high level of variability, but also working on a high level of body control. It's what I call so again, you go full curl, half curl, and then no step curl. And again, we do something we call mirrored movements, where whatever we do on the right side of the court, we do on the other side of the court, even if it's very uncomfortable. We always need to have these things in our bag if we need to get to it. So once again, he'll do full curl, half curl, and no curls, and you'll see like he starts to struggle, and because these are very difficult shots, he just makes them look easy. When you're watching the film and watching him put up shots, it doesn't hit you how difficult these shots are because of the elite level of his shot making. You only realize how difficult these are when you start to go out there and do it yourself and feel how difficult these shots are and feel all the variables that are in with these shots. Especially when we limit where his movement is in his feet. Limiting his footwork makes it very difficult for shooters, which is what we're trying to do in the workouts. With a guy like Diego, he's a very good shooter. If we let him do catch and shoot all day, there's not a level of difficulty to make him better. So we constantly put him in uncomfortable positions where he's working on body control, working on his center of mass, because those are the things that are most valuable for him during the games. And then every time we finish that part of the workout, we just finish with free throws. So what we're looking at next is what I call leverage release. What we're doing is we're doing a sidestep with the leverage of a defender. So in games, a lot of the time he'll be leveraged by a defender while he's driving, so he has to be able to release and get into a shot quickly. And he needs to do it in a very balanced way. So we do it with no defender. That way he just is able to calibrate the movements, get comfortable in it. And then we add the leverage of the defender. This way we kind of contrast between having no defender, no load, and then we move on to having the defender, having the load, which just gives him a little bit of variability and a little bit of challenge. What our main focus is trying to keep his balance and center of gravity in line with the rim. So my mental and visual cue here is trying to keep the line between his nose and his belly button and keep that staying between the rim. So we're just trying to be as balanced as we can be and as strong as we can be at the same time. And then again, we do the mirrored movements. We want to be able to do everything we do on one side to the other. Now this is where I kind of let him make his minor adjustments himself, see his balance himself, and make a feel for the shot. And then once we see where it's a consistent thing where we're missing left or right, that's when we make the adjustment. Again, we want to be as balanced and as strong as possible. Again, no leverage to start, no load, and then we will move on to adding load in a second here. Usually we go about 3 makes, and then we move on to the leverage. Again, these are very difficult shots to make and very difficult to work on, right? He makes it look very easy just because of the level of shooting that he has. But even the best shooters, they have minor details that need to clean up, that they can fix. That way they can become more elite at shooting. So now we just back this up to the 3-point line, and we're doing the same exact thing. You can see he's trying to get his footwork right, get his mental there. That way he can knock down shots, stay on balance, and be as strong as possible, have a good foundation. And then even then, you'll see him struggle a little bit here where he starts to miss shots. You'll see right about now. And again, these misses are very important to us. It shows where the flight of the ball is. It shows how he's adjusting his core to his shot. And it shows his body control while he's shooting these sidestep threes. But what every elite shooter has is that goldfish memory where they miss a shot, they adjust to it, and they hit the next one. What you're going to see here is he felt like he was fading to the left a little bit, so he's going to push into my hand to the right. That way he kind of just mentally recalibrates his brain and just working on that anti-rotation. The body control is everything here, right? So now again, we're going to add leverage. We're just going to make sure that he's leveraging off and releasing and getting good shots. And again, we are consistently working on mirrored movements. We want to just be as variable as possible, be able to get to either side of the court. It'll make him dangerous. And a lot of the time when he misses a shot, often I let him try to do his own correction first. And then if it's like a consistent problem, then we fix it. So now we're doing the same thing, but instead of doing a sidestep, we're going straight back. Again, he's going to do it with no leverage first, get comfortable, go straight back. And again, now we add leverage, so my hands are on his shoulders. He goes dribble, 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 pound, step back. Now you can see he starts to fade a little bit, so what we do is we're recalibrating again. I want him to have that visual cue of his shoulders always being over his hips versus his shoulders leaning too forward past his toes. Again, the body control of this is super important. As the ball starts to go in, we start to see that he has good body control, his center of mass is balanced, and he's hitting shots. We want Diego to get as far back as possible. That way he's working on his body control, his stability, and his center of gravity. That way his core is always engaged. And again, we add leverage, get his complexity and his variability there, and just practicing it with load. All right, so now we're moving on. What we're working on here is just getting balanced off of an uncomfortable position, and it's unconventional, right? Now with Diego, you don't always shoot these shots in the game. You never really shoot these shots in game, but what we're doing is working on the complexity so that he can hit any shot on the court. It's unconventional, it's unorthodox, but that's what basketball is at the end of the day. Again, now we just back it up to the three-point line and do the same exact thing. Especially with three-pointers, it's distant. You have to have more load and have more structure. If there's any kind of being off balance or not having good body control, you'll see that he probably misses and he readjusts and then he hits the next one. Again, the reason why we shoot these is because the level of difficulty on these will help him become a more elite athlete. Again, we try to have as much variety as possible, take as many variables so then he can just have the ability to hit any shot on the court, because you never really get to shoot the same exact shot in a game twice. All right, so this next drill, we're working on handoffs into a shot. Again, we want as much variety as possible. So this is where I kind of give him the freedom of reign. He can make any move that he wants into a shot, and then we go midi, 3, midi, 3. So we go about 6 makes from every time we do this. So 3 makes per slot, and then we move up. We hit every single spot on the court. So we're going corner to wing, wing to top, top to wing, wing to corner. And again, the level of difficulty on these workouts to first of all have variety, be able to knock down shot after shot. Sometimes he's hitting 4 or 5 in a row. This is where we start to build up the level of difficulty, build up his ability to just knock down any kind of shot. Just yuck, bro. He hits shot after shot. Anyways, after this drill, we hit a free throw, then we move on. So this one, we're going 3-range shooting. So he's shooting a midi, he's shooting a catch and shoot 3, and then he's shooting a deep pull-up 3. Again, this is just getting him touches, getting him in rhythm, getting his shot right. And again, we want to try to hit as many spots as possible. So we go wing, to corner, back to wing, and we're going 2 from every spot. Once he makes from all 3 spots, he moves on to the next one, and then he moves on, does 2 from every spot. And then from the corner again, instead of doing a deep pull-up 3, we're going to do a side step 3. See, he misses, he recalibrates, and then he hits the next one. Also, the order we're going in is very intentional. We don't want to work the same side of the floor consecutive times. We want to give him as much variables and as much variety as possible. So again, he'll go wing, to corner. So then we're kind of changing the sight line that he has side to side. That way he is practicing game-like reps. That way you're hitting shots just like you would in game. Again, we try to stay away from patterns as much as possible. Again, very rarely you get the same shot 2 times in a row in game, so we just want as many variables and much variety as possible involved from every shot. And again, he makes this look incredibly easy, but when you change ranges on every shot, it takes the difficulty level up quite a bit. So he's got to hit 3 in a row from every spot. That way he can move on. Now this is very important for our workouts. The only time he's shooting from the same spot is when we're doing a volume game where our goal is for him to make a certain amount of shots. Again, this might look incredibly easy to him, but it's very difficult. Okay, so this is the example of a consecutive make drill. So it's just 2 from every spot. We're going corner to wing, wing to top, top to wing, wing to corner, and back. He has to make 2 in a row from that spot to be able to move on to the next. And again, he flies through this. He just hits shot after shot, but this is a very difficult drill again. Now, I always like to finish our shooting workouts or our basketball workouts with some form of conditioning, because my philosophy is if you can't run a full court comfortably, or if you can't run up and down the court without getting tired, you shouldn't even be allowed to shoot. So this drill, we like to call it 21. If he hits a 3, it counts as 3 points. He hits a midi or a midi pull-up, counts as 2, and then he hits a layup, it's 1, right? And now the goal is for him to hit 21 points. Again, he's covering about the half court area of just running up and down, hitting shot, running the full court to take a layup, and hitting threes. Now, again, he makes this look pretty easy, but as the drill goes on, it gets more and more difficult. He starts to miss shots, and that's kind of what we want. We want the drill to last a little longer. Being able to shoot through that fatigue is going to be vital for him in the future. Now, as soon as he finishes that drill, he goes right into start shooting, building the star formation. So it's corner to wing, wing to opposite wing to corner, corner to the top, back to that original corner till he hits 5 shots. Now, star shooting, it's only as difficult as you make it. If you decide you want to hit your shots and stay on balance and knock down, it's very quick. But if you miss shots, lots of running, lots of conditioning. Now, as soon as he hits 5 shots, we go right back into that 21 drill. And now, as you can imagine, he makes 21. Now, the number of shots that he has to make in the star shooting drill goes down 1. So now he went from 5 makes, now he only has to make 4. And then all we do is continue this drill till he gets to only where he has to only make 1 shot in the star shooting drill, and then the drill is over. Again, he makes these drills look very easy, but they are quite difficult. Especially the longer you go on, the fatigue will catch up. So he hits 4 consecutively. Now he goes right back into the 21. Now the number is 3. This drill is incredibly taxing on your body as it's causing you to run up and down the court, across the court, lots of running, lots of moving, and we ought to be able to hit shots through the fatigue. The little details, like if you miss a layup, you got to run back and then run and hit the layup again, cover a lot more ground. He hits 21, right back into it. Now it's 3 makes. Now the number is 2, goes down all the way to 1 again. Now, once he finishes the drill, we just finish with free throws, hit free throws through fatigue, workouts are very intentional right now. Building the ability to handle force, right? Having that tendon capacity, being able to have that time under the tension is going to be big for us. So we started with Spanish split squats. Now we go into TKE holds, where he's fully extending his knee, just building a lot of strength for himself. Now we're doing some Achilles and calf holds, focusing on that plantar flexion. That way we have strong ankles that can handle any force. The last thing you want to do is have a weak ankle. And then I get him to take his shoes off here, and you can start to see where the Bosu ball starts to shake. That's his ankle instability, which is a good thing, but it's a bad thing. We want to build lots and lots of strength so that he can just stabilize instantly. Again, this is working on all these little tendons and ligaments in your legs, in your ankles, so that you can be successful and not have any injuries in the upcoming future. My saying is, the rehab that you do when you hurt yourself should turn into the prehab. So that's doing things to build the strength so that you never get hurt again.
I love Bosu ball work, bro. It's fun. It's a lot of balance. It's challenging.
And then we go into some hip mobility movements. So this is 90s into a lift, just getting nice and strong, be able to move freely with your hips. And then the last one is a range of motion drill. So we're doing lunges with a balance ball right behind. The key to this one is just bracing your core, getting nice and low. We want your knee as close to the ground as possible, and just building that foundational strength so that you can be successful on court. And then we finish with cable wood chops, just building extra core strength. You use your core in everything you do in basketball, right? Now, we usually spend about an hour to an hour and a half each day training different workouts, building fundamental strengths so that you can be successful. Now, if you want to learn more about Diego's workouts or workouts in general, you can check my Instagram out, Jaden Bautista.